Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the most magical podcast in the Midwest, the Magic in the Midwest podcast, starring USA Today best-selling author J.B. Michaels and his more successful wife, Ashley Michaels. And now, your hosts. Oh, wow. Well, thank you, host, for the very generous
I think
intro.
You mean announcer.
Right.
We're the hosts.
I always forget about that.
Yes.
Okay, I mean the announcer. Yes, thank you, announcer, for the great intro. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Magic in the Midwest podcast. I am J.B. Michaels. I have written 14 books. There's something for everybody. They're very cinematic. I don't write super long, overdrawn, superfluously detailed types of books. If you want fun, quick reads, read JB books. So
Yes,
so check those out on MrMichaels.com or Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble or anywhere books are sold. You can, check those out. Also, I'm joined here. This is the 49th? Yeah, 49th.
wow.
Is this the 49th?
That's crazy. I know we're approaching a year, so it's got to be close.
Yeah, I think it is the 49th episode of the Magic in the Midwest podcast. I mean, we'll definitely check that, but I think it is. But anyway.
And if it's not, it won't change.
If it's not, it's not going to matter.
Right,
You're right. And I'm joined here today by my more successful wife, Ash. How's it going, Ash?
It's great.
That's good.
Living the dream, man.
Living the dream.
What about you? Living the dream because I'm married to you.
Right. Of course. Living the dream because I'm married to you. Yes. That's right.
No, we just ate, so
I feel good about it. Yeah,
she's
she's very happy. She's when you feed Ashy, things are good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
yeah.
ate.
So but anyway, so yeah, it's been a we've in the Midwest here and also in Texas and different parts of the winter has just been really brutal. I hope I'm praying and I'm gonna have to probably give to. Usually I give to the Red Cross when stuff like that happens, so I'll probably do that. Yeah. I will do that. But yeah, so I mean, it's been a crazy winter.
It has.
Luckily right now it is warmer. It's not, for us it's like in the upper 30s, which is good.
Yeah.
So these 3 feet mountains of snow are melting. So.
Yes, finally. Yeah. It's been, like JB said, it's been lots of snow, lots of high piled snow,
right.
And freezing. So when I stepped outside today and it was like 34, it felt like a heat wave.
Yeah, you're like, a tropical heat wave.
I don't have to wear 8 pairs of pants when I go outside.
Yes, you're right.
Just 6.
Just 6 pairs. So today we are going to use, we're going to go talk about a great place that is definitely not where you have to wear 8 layers of pants and then reduce them to 6 when it gets into the 30s.
Indeed.
We're going to talk about the islands. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Universal's Islands of Adventure Park. So I'm excited about
Brace
this.
yourselves.
Now, this park blew my mind when it first opened. So I just love it. I love it. All right, so we're gonna try and get through a couple islands today. I'm sure we can. Okay. We're gonna talk about some of the attractions in each. And we're gonna go through this. So at the end of the 20th century, this park opened on May 28th of 1999, ladies and gentlemen. So this was the second major theme park on Universal property, which launched Universal's foray right into making their parks and their land a destination. So meaning that you didn't just go there for a day and leave. Now there was 2 parks, so you should, be encouraged to stay for maybe a couple days, a weekend, or maybe more. And they opened with City Walk as well at the same time. So City Walk and Islands opened at the same time. Yeah, so, and now, of course, it is owned by NBC Universal, and NBC Universal is also owned by the parent company, which is Comcast. So, what are you going to do? But here we go. So, Ash, now I think I went to Islands, I think, in 1999. I think I went in fall of 99. I'm fairly certain. Maybe not. Maybe it was a little later. I can't remember.
Okay.
No, it wasn't fall of 99 because... Oh, yeah, no. Actually, it was. It was because I graduated in spring of 99. So, yeah, it was. So, went there when it first opened. Let's talk about today. We're going to talk about... well, first off, Ash, what do you think of the port of entry? Like the area where you walk in and there's shops around, but it's kind of like a mystical place. What do you think? What do you think of the big tower as well? The Islands of Adventure Tower, like the lighthouse tower when you come in.
In terms of the entrance, like where you walk in and those little shops, I really like that area.
Yeah.
I just like it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about it, but and now I'm trying to look up, is this the tower you're referencing here?
Yes, the tower, the lighthouse. Yeah.
I feel indifferent about the tower.
The tower is not really... Yeah, okay.
I didn't even know there was a tower until you said that, so...
You didn't?
I mean, that's like... What? So it's just like a little tower?
Yeah, it's a lighthouse, it was... Yeah, okay.
What purpose does it serve?
I guess it's supposed to denote...
Is there something big, massive behind it that I'm not aware of? It's just like there.
It's there because thematically, right, lighthouses are on islands.
Well, I understand that. I'm just saying,
right.
I've been there how many times and I really just don't.
Yeah, but you haven't paid much attention to it. Yeah, I know. It's not, I would guess it sort of denotes the entrance of the park rather than being a centerpiece of the park.
Well, see, like when I think of like an icon, I think of the castle or Spaceship Earth or something like that. This is just a lighthouse, which is fine. I mean, that's great. But
right.
I mean, there's nothing more to it than like it's,
Well, it's kind of interesting, right? Because Universal's strategy of their iconic sort of like, I guess the most similar to the icons of Disney are the archway, right? Walking into Universal Studios Florida. And then, of course, the lighthouse in front of Islands of Adventure. So, whatever. But that's that's literally set outside of the park, right by the entrance. You walk in, and then you've got Port of Entry, which is, like you said, Ash, I know, the vibe is really nice there. I like that vibe. Yeah,
I just like it.
It's funny. I feel like I just haven't spent that much time at the Port of Entry. Like, it's a part of the park. It's a pretty decent sized part of the park. But It's one of those things where you sort of just, kind of walk. I guess, you just kind of walk past it because you're excited about getting into, the actual other parts of the park. So, what are you going to do? So, but anyway, so there is I think a Cinnabon here. There's a croissant. Yeah, Cinnabon, Starbucks, Backwater Bar, the Confisco Grill, and the Croissant Moon Bakery. So there is places for you to grab coffee and breakfast stuff. I think that's smart that they position those right in this main area. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, pretty neat. So, Isles of Adventure, you guys, it's almost like it's very similar, in some ways to the way that Magic Kingdom is set up. I mean, it's like a big circle, sort of.
Yeah.
And Epcot. Okay, so sort of probably more like Epcot because there's a lagoon in the middle and then there's all these things around the lagoon. All right, so if you were to go into Islands of Adventure and you were to take a left, you see that attractions, there's an attraction sign that kind of tells you how long the waits are for everything. although now the apps tell us everything. But we also have the first island, and the one that I was most excited about. Well, you were equally excited about when it first came into creation was Marvel Superhero Island. Okay, what's there?
The Hulk coaster.
Hulk coaster.
Spider-Man.
And Spidey. I mean, those are really the two biggest things. And then, of course, there's Storm Force Accelatron, which is basically like the teacups. It's just a ride where you just kind of spin around. Doctor Doom's Fearfall, which is really cool, but it's not. It's less of a fall. It's more of a shot up. It more shoots you up.
But then do you fall?
A little bit. It's not actually really. It's more about the going up than the down.
Interesting.
So, yeah. And then there's the Cafe 4 where, you could get some. And then, of course, the Captain America Diner as well. Okay. So now, Ash, what are your thoughts on... Let's do our review. Let's do our review of... First off, what do you think of Marvel Superhero Island anyway?
I really like this area of the park. It has two of my favorite rides.
Right. These are two of your favorite rides? Of all time?
No.
Oh, okay. Just at Universal. Okay.
At Universal, yes.
Right.
I mean, a lot of great attractions there, but I will never forget the first time I was on the Hulk coaster. I didn't realize it was going to be launched forward. I was there. Let's see. The first time I was there I was 16, so it must have been like 2002, 2003. 2003.
Okay. Perfect time to go, by the way, I think.
Yeah, it was, we had such a great time. And like I said in the last podcast, I remember very distinctly going up to this little kiosk and getting a little card telling us what time to come back.
Okay.
And it was only for certain attractions. No. It was not by the lockers.
It's not the locker. Okay.
And it told us, and it gave us like a 45-minute or 50-minute window of when to come back. So I don't know if we had purchased an express pass and that's how it used to operate. Or, I don't know.
Yeah, interesting.
You know how that is. I don't know how it worked. I, just followed what everyone else was doing. And it wasn't available at every attraction. But anyways, I love Hulk. I think it's a great coaster. And Spider-Man, I mean, it's just fun.
Right.
It's just fun. I had a great time on it. So this is one of my favorite parts of Islands.
Right. I agree. And I just think, aesthetically speaking, it's an interesting way to do it. It's very late 90s design of the characters, right? I mean, the weird thing about this is that Stan Lee sold the theme park rights dirt cheap. I think he only sold it for maybe $5 million, or not even that much. It wasn't that much to have the Marvel properties inside the theme park. Okay. So, and then you could tell, it's definitely, it is definitely not going to be like Avengers Campus in California Adventure. It's definitely different. That's very MCU, very stylistic. You're actually in a world where these characters exist.
Oh, okay.
Whereas, if you look at Marvel Superhero Island, it's artwork. It's comic book, right? Which I think is great. Is there something wrong?
I just thought I heard him yell out.
He's fine.
Okay.
So
yeah.
It's very comic bookish. It's very illustrated. The artwork is all from at the time the Marvel artists at the time, probably Mark Bagley and some other people helped design the park.
Yeah.
And they have that little cavalcade of heroes. Which also is really neat, which is really cool because you get to see Captain America and Spider-Man and all the characters come out once or twice a day, but they're all in very comic book outfits. They're not in MCU outfits. They're in, that's the weird, wonderful part. One of the greatest parts about this whole situation is that, of course, we all know that Disney owns Marvel. So the fact that they inherited this deal that Stan Lee had made with Universal. Universal ain't letting it go, right?
Yeah.
So, so that is something to think about. So, Universal, of course, they make a lot of money with Marvel Superhero Island. But here's the deal. Like, Disney could come in and make demands.
Right, because they have already, right?
Right,
There's been updates to the whole coaster.
Right, they rebuilt the entire Hulk coaster because of Disney. Disney was like, I want this redone.
And then, like, the line queue, or at least, like, the pre-show part of it and a few other things, like, seemed different. Like, maybe they had updated something there.
Right. Yeah, oh, yeah, the whole line queue and everything. The statue of the Hulk is different. The design is different. The story, I think, is a little different. But, yeah, so... Marvel Superhero Island is cool, but it's a definite different, like, you could tell it's, a comic book version of the characters, not the movie versions of those characters, which who cares? I mean, they're still Marvel, still awesome.
I kind of like it. I kind of like that.
I like it too.
90s.
I like it too. I like it that it's like, yeah, you got the Wolverine, like picture. You've got Kingpin. It's well done. It's a really cool part of the park, and there was a really cool scare zone here once.
Oh, really?
That had soap all over it. It was bubbles.
Oh.
It literally caked all of Marvel Superhero Island in like dish soap, basically, like bubble soap, and it was everywhere. It was like foam. Soap everywhere.
What was the name? Like, what was the...
I can't remember. It was like Toxic Waste or something. And those
like
people,
that.
these like goons were walking around, like, with melted faces and
Side
stuff.
question. How awesome was HHN in Islands?
I'll be honest, arguably, I liked
the vibe, I'm sure, would be so cool, but I understand it's just like a space issue.
I liked HHN, I think, better in Islands.
I think it would be a really cool vibe.
Better, actually. Yeah. But that's another podcast.
No, I'm just curious.
But it is, but you're right. Like, Marvel Superhero Island is just a neat place.
What's funny
it's kind of kitschy, right? It's not like, it's not sleek, I would say.
It's not. Yes,
it's
exactly.
Bright, it's colorful, and there's comic book, superheroes drawn everywhere.
I like it.
I think it's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's dig deep now into Hulk. The story of the Incredible Hulk coaster really is that you're Bruce Banner. You're trying to find a cure for yourself, and of course, when you're doing these cures, something goes wrong, and you turn into the Hulk. Well, the simulation of the launch, the inverted launch, is. You hear Banner like going no, and he turns into the Hulk, and that's when you're launched, and that's like that's how
becoming
he feels.
The Hulk, yeah,
becoming the Hulk. That's what it feels like. This incredible rush, of adrenaline. So, first impressions of the Hulk when you first.
I loved it. I thought, I kind of make fun of myself because how could I not realize that it was a launch coaster? Because you can kind of tell. Right.
Well, they haven't. They
hide it
though.
Well, but I mean,
you
see the top, like the peak.
Yes.
Of the thing. But I was 16 and not paying attention and in line. And I was a late bloomer, guys, going on roller coasters. So I had only been going on roller coasters for a few years and had never been there before. And I just remember I was talking to, I think it was my friend Kim. I was turned, and my head was turned as we were in the coaster, going up, and I thought, okay, we're just gonna go up slow, and we were talking about something, and then we just like flew up, and I remember like I tried to scream, but nothing came out, but we were just like having the best time, and it's just awesome. And I know you've talked about how it's not like an overly long coaster, but I would argue that
it doesn't matter
because you don't have that slow.
Right.
Like, up to the top part, that usually that counts in a coaster time, and it doesn't have that. So I don't feel like it's overly short. It's not super long, but it's not like, it's like when I think of a short coaster, I think of, not that if you're in the Midwest, you'll know Six Flags Great America, like Batman. It's like the shortest coaster of all time. But I don't know. I've never felt that way getting off of this ride.
No, I don't think. I never felt like it was short. I felt like it delivered like
yes.
I think you go through like a couple G-forces. Like that's one of the big things about it. Because of that launch, like it's an incredible, like you're feeling, all this force, this gravity. So it's just a. I'll when I first went on it, I was obviously like you, just totally blown away. Like, wow, I'd never, ever been on a coaster like that. Ever.
I just didn't even think about it because I didn't think that you could do that.
Yeah.
No one did that with roller coasters. So I was like, oh, we're just going to go up to the top. Kim and I are talking, and then all of a sudden we fly forward.
Yeah. It was just
it was so cool.
Wow. And especially Hulk is my favorite superhero. Mm-hmm. So for him to have such a great attraction just really helps. And I love the green and purple of the coaster. I just love the design of the coaster. It looks great. You go into that one tunnel where you're actually it's technically in the water, right? So you're like, this fog and the smoke. It's just really cool. It's a great coaster. I will say that several times on this coaster, I have seen gray matter come across my vision. Like it just almost passing out. I'm not kidding.
Why?
Because of how intense it is.
Oh.
I literally almost passed out, I think, a couple times on this coaster. Throughout my times going on the coaster.
Kind of a wimp, then.
Not really a wimp. There's a lot happening on that ride.
It's not that intense. Pass out intense?
I almost passed out a couple of times.
Wimp.
Probably because I was just so excited. And I just let all the air go out of my body.
You forgot to breathe?
Because I screamed. Yeah, maybe I was forgetting to breathe or something.
I don't know what it's like to be that dumb.
Right. Oh, stop it. So, of course, Hulk was something that I, just raved about and told everybody they must go on the Incredible Hulk coaster.
Yeah, but even now, when we go, that's definitely a ride that we want to do.
It's a must-do attraction.
JB's must
Giving it up, got that feeling. Living it up. All right.
Maybe we can audition to do Universal's must-do.
We should.
Yeah.
We should, darn it. Anyway.
I would definitely get
picked.
Selected.
Right, you would.
I don't know about you.
Probably not. So, Hulk coaster, what do we give it? What grade? What rating out of 10?
9.
9. Why 9 and not the full Monty?
I think it could be a little longer. No, I like that it's a coaster.
Okay.
I don't like, with the way that things have evolved, these rides, not everything has to be something, crazy, themed, super surprising, different, whatever. I'm very excited to go on Hagrid's motorbike, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
but, not every ride has to be that way. I think it's fine that it's just a roller coaster.
Right. Yeah.
And if one superhero were to have a ride that was just a roller coaster, it should be Hulk.
It should be Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it fits. The theme fits. But yeah, I feel like it could be longer.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
But I feel like it's very satisfying. So I'm gonna give it a 9.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give it a 10. Not only because he's my favorite superhero, but it's for a coaster. I think it's the highest marks you could get for a coaster.
Is it because you almost pass out?
It kicks your butt. You feel like light when you get off the ride. Like you feel like your feet. Like it's like you're walking on air. Like you can't move. It's really,
I don't have that problem.
Some of us have feelings. Okay, and aren't psychopaths.
You're saying?
I'm saying you have no feelings.
And therefore, what?
I don't know.
Wow.
So I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10.
The psychopath gives it a 9.
Psychopath gives it a 9. You don't feel like your legs are a little jelly? Like a little when you get off that? Like, whoa.
Not more than other roller coasters.
Okay, well. I just always notice it more on the Hulk. Maybe it's just my body makeup.
It just depends on
Yeah.
what affects you and how weak you are in certain areas. Some of us are stronger. I have a lot of health problems, but I'm theme park strong.
Right. Okay, so you gave it a 9. I gave it a 10. Have you ever done Stormforce Acceleratron? I think I did it once. I mean, it's just a spinny attraction.
No, I don't do spinning.
I don't think we should even.
I don't think anyone even cares.
I don't think anybody.
If you care, please write in. We'll talk about it.
If Stormforce Acceleratron is your favorite ride, we will talk about it for you. Okay.
Not for very long.
I don't think it is, but guarantee it's not anybody's favorite.
Now, when you're on there, do you get that gray matter?
No.
Do your legs feel wobbly when you're done?
No. Now, number 3 on the list, I'm looking at the map of Universal's Islands of Adventure. And Doctor Doom's Fearfall is the next attraction. Now, for me, this is where there's these 2 towers that go high up into the air.
Kind of like Giant Drop, but in reverse. You get launched up.
Yeah, you get launched up.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever been on this?
No.
Oh, you
I
haven't?
have no desire to go on it.
Okay. Now,
I think rides like that are dumb.
Here's the thing about Doctor Doom's Fearfall. The line queue is the attraction. I really feel like the build-up and the line queue is much cooler than the actual
I shouldn't
ride.
say rides like this are dumb, but I equate it with the same type of thing as Giant Drop from Six Flags,
Right.
where you wait in line for a very long time, like an hour, to have this experience where you go up and then down.
And then just go right down, yeah.
And I've done rides like that, and I never feel like I have to do them again. If there was no line and people really wanted to do it,
Right.
I would.
I mean, it's okay.
I do think it's like you're about to say or are saying, it's the adrenaline, it's the buildup. If it's like this one movement and you don't know when it's gonna happen, I always do get freaked out on Giant Drop,
right.
just because you can't, there's no track, there's no, you know what's gonna happen,
Right.
you do, you just don't know when. So it is fun, but it's not like, I don't think about that ride.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. Doctor Doom's Fearfall, I would say, to going into the Castle Doom, and there's like this very 90s, like animation in there, and like Doctor Doom is basically, there's Doom bots, which are cool, like these like robot, that Doom bots are things like Terminators that Doctor Doom uses, and they're in there, and they're like they move around, and there's replicas of those, and then there's this whole storyline that Doctor Doom wants to extract the fear from you, right? So he needs your fear energy to, beat the Fantastic Four, basically, and that's why you get on this thing, and he wants to extract your fear.
Ooh.
I want to extract your fear, Dr. Doom. So very cheesy, very comic booky, very fun. Really enjoyed it. That part of it, like the story and those elements. But then the ride literally just shoots you up, and you kind of go down a little bit, and it shoots you up again. And that's really it. I mean, It's cool. You can see cool views of the park. I mean, it's worth it for that.
Is it worth it for that?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I would give it probably a 6 out of 10. Nothing crazy, not a must-do. If you go walk right past it, that's fine. Mm-hmm. And it's also tucked, like, further, like, down, like a street. Like, it's tucked further back. So you really, unless you're looking for it, you will probably just walk right past it.
I feel like we walk past some sort of sign for it, and I feel like we always notice that, and then we keep walking.
Doctor Doom's Fearfall. Yes. And of course, we just want to get to the main attraction of this part of the park. And I think the attraction that won many, many awards for it at the time, like Hulk, it blew my mind. It's a kind of an incredible blending of multiple types of attractions, and that is the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. Okay, so all right, Ash, what do you think of Spidey?
Loved it.
First one on.
I give it a 10. It is 100% the ride that made me fall in love with good rides.
Oh, that's great. I agree.
Up until that point, I had been to Disney one time, and I was 8, and I, was afraid of everything, so I didn't do a lot. And I don't really super remember a lot of it. This was a trip as a teenager, and we were very excited. And this was like the first ride that I felt it was more than just immediate thrills. Like, it was thrilling the whole time, but it was more than just than a coaster. It was this, I had never been on a ride, like this type of ride before. I don't even know what, it's like a dark 3D, what is it?
It's a dark ride. I would say a dark ride, right?
But I just remember having so much fun on that ride, and I wanted to go on it again.
Yes.
And I just was like, this is a great ride, and I love it. I want to find more rides like this.
Yeah. And I agree. I agree with you. And so that ride, Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, really ushered in like a new type of like ride experience.
Yeah.
Like the what you actually experience on the ride, especially with the use of the 3D glasses.
Well, and it's perfect for Spider-Man, right? Because he's swinging around and doing a bunch of stuff.
Right.
It just fits perfectly.
And it was such a great like integration of the story and yourself. You know what I mean? Like being sort of like, in like you're involved in it, right? You're involved. You're involved in it, guys. Okay, that's right. So like it to me, it's just this incredible. You're reporters. You're supposed to be going with, just going to the Daily Bugle for like an internship or something, and you wind up getting sucked into this amazing adventure with Spider-Man. And what's great too is that Spidey, the villains are the just like Batman. Like the villains are the best part of the best things about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And the whole Spider-Verse, right? So I mean, it's just, man, I just never forget getting on that rover. It's sort of like a time rover. Yeah. Really, it moves like that. It's a little. What do you don't think it does?
It's not exactly like the time rover.
Well, it's similar.
It's like on a track.
Yeah, but so is the time rover.
Yeah, but no, they're not the same.
Well, okay. So it's a dark ride, and then of course you have it's a great use of both screens, 3D film, and practical effects. So, you have a mixture of both, and then of course a great story and all these villains sort of coming up and attacking you. And Spidey,
and they're
basically
like jumping on the car. Like that's the first time I remember truly reacting to 3D in that way, like leaning my head back or to the side because these villains are landing on the front of the vehicle, and you feel like they're like 2 inches from your face. Right. Yeah. And it was just wild.
Yeah, it was wild.
As a 16-year-old, I'd be like, okay, they're not really there.
Yeah. Well, that and like when Spidey jumps out of your car, it's like, are you guys okay? And he jumps out of the car and then he
and there's that one part where there's like fireballs being thrown at you.
Yeah, the Hobgoblin throws his. Yeah, he throws his pumpkin bombs, and one gets over our heads and blows up, and actual fire comes out of this area, and then one of them also, Spidey catches in 3D, it like gets close to your face and he throws it back. And then, of course, Doc Ock has the levitation gun, right? And he's levitating things in the Statue of Liberty. He's like her face, like she starts levitating at one point. And I mean, the way they did this ride, the effects that they did, I mean, I was like you said, Ash, it made you fall in love with rides and attractions and made you want to go on more like that. I mean, because like when you're on that ride and there's, especially at the part where you're up high on the building and
Yeah.
you start falling.
Yes.
I mean, holy cow, it really feels like that. You know, and then Spidey, of course, saves you. But wow, what an incredible!
It's so great.
Like, you know, it's just an incredible way to do it. It was just so like revolutionary at the time, right? It was just like, wow. I mean, what did we just experience? And you're like, I want to do it again. That was incredible.
And you know what? I feel like it really holds up. I think they've redone the 3D or some
it's now
video or
it's
whatever.
updated projections and graphics. And,
But it holds up.
Yeah.
If you went on it for the first time now, I think you would think it was an amazing ride.
Yeah, I think it's like 4K projection, new animation, like they redid that that aspect of it. Definitely was, you know, obviously needed to be done. I mean, it was just so good. It's an attraction that I hope never.
Goes
I
away.
think it's a classic and needs to stay forever. It's
so good.
It's so good.
I agree.
It's still so good. Yeah. So of course, you know, the Spider-Man, Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, really, for me, in regards to how I felt about Islands of Adventure, I think that was the ride that I thought like set Islands apart, right? And made it someplace really special. Obviously the combo of Hulk and Spidey, because the Hulk coaster is just, I was just blown away by that. But then the Spidey ride really set it over the top. It was like, you definitely have not experienced something like this. You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you walk in and the Hulk coaster is what gets your attention. And then Spider-Man brings it home.
Yeah. And it's just,
Brings it home.
Brings it home. I don't know. Far from home. Right. Spider-Man. You are
Funny.
losing it. Brings it home. Yes. So, what do you give Spidey? You said 10.
10, 12, 58.
Yeah, I would give it a 68 out of 12. No, but yeah, 10 too. Spidey is definitely a 10. It's funny. I feel like a lot of the attractions in Islands are really high quality. And the way that it's set up is, you know, very cohesive and strong. So I think Islands
is super strong.
Yeah, I think it's a very strong
Much
theme park.
stronger than the other.
Yeah, we'll get into that next, or a couple times from now. We'll see. Yeah, we're going to definitely get into that. So overall, you know, then you walk out of Spidey and you go into sort of like a comic book shop, which I think is cool. You know, I could definitely spend money there. And there's all sorts of cool different Spidey, you know, merchandise, which I know Universal makes money on the merch. Like they make a decent, like it's all, I think that all goes to them.
Okay.
But like everything else, I mean, obviously they have to license things. They have to pay Disney to have Marvel in the park. Like it's part of a licensing agreement. Now the lawyers for Disney are really trying to get that broken. There's like this whole clause that says anything south of the Mason-Dixon line or something crazy like that, you cannot have these characters in your park, which is why in Epcot we're getting Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
You know, we're not getting the Avengers at Epcot.
Right.
We're getting Guardians. And it's
Do you think that they'll break that clause? Do you think they'll find a way to...
No, I mean, it basically what we just said, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, unless Universal decides they want to put something else in that area of the park, it's not going anywhere. I mean, it's just not going to go anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's one of those
They
things.
should not get rid of it with some of their other bombs.
Right.
Not into that.
So, overall, what do we think of Marvel's Superhero Island, Ash, if you were to rate the whole
10.
area, the whole island?
10.
Okay, 10. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead.
2 of the best attractions. The other one's probably okay.
And it's that part. It just hits you right away. It's very close to the entrance of the park, and it's just high quality. Like your first impression is either going to be Spidey or Hulk. You're going to be like, this park rocks.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to be like, wow. You know, like what did I just experience? You know, it's so good. Yeah. So I would give it a 10 as well. It's very interesting, the whole situation with Disney and Universal in regards to this area of their intellectual property. There's a similar situation over in studios as well. Simpsons is now owned by Disney.
Ugh.
And all of Springfield, all of the ride in the Simpsons ride, all of that again is, agreements that are now made with Disney and Universal. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. Isn't it weird?
It is weird.
It's the age of the mega corporation taking over all this IP. Mm-hmm. All right, Ash. So I think you got anything else?
Did you give it a 10?
I gave it a 10.
Okay.
I think that if you are going to go to an island, a must island in Islands of Adventure, this is the one you need to go to. Out of all the other islands, I for sure think so. So, especially now, just a real recap. When the park originally opened, there was Port of Entry, Marvel Superhero Island, Toon Lagoon, Jurassic Park, the Lost Continent, and Seuss Landing. Okay? Since then, there has been, obviously, additions to the park, notably, of course, Harry Potter. But when you went into Islands of Adventure originally, it was different. So we're going to talk a little bit, when we get to those sections of the park in future podcasts, we'll talk about, the original rides that were there versus what's there now. But yeah. So,
I just want to do a shout out to Emily over at Magical Mouse Travel. We met her. I mean, we actually haven't physically met her, but we got to know her through the podcast, and she is a vacation planner that specializes in Disney and Universal, but she can book all travel, including cruises and all-inclusive resorts. Of course, it's at no cost to you. She can help with dining and fast passes when that's back. And we'll always monitor for savings, so if something comes up after you book, she will let you know. Airport transfers, and she creates customized itineraries. She's awesome. Her and I chat about Mickey waffle makers, and she's awesome. To get a hold of her, you can email her at emily@magicalmousetravel.com. And she did just let me know that Disney released their prices, so going back to Disney, for January through June of 2022. So you can book out that far.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they just released them.
That's early.
Last week.
I guess I understand why, but wow, that's early.
Yeah, so I know she said that a lot of people are booking Universal right now too. So she is awesome. She knows all the things, and just let her know that we sent you.
Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, you can have double the content. Way to go.
Wait, double?
Double the content, Ash. All you have to do is go to magicinthemidwestpodcast.bandcamp.com, and for as little as $3 a month, a whole month,
Whoa.
That's less than $1 a week.
That's crazy low.
That's crazy low.
That is a deal.
That is a deal. Like if you've ever heard it. And you help this. You help this banter.
Whatever this
is. You help the banter keep going. All right? And you guys, I will tell you this. We absolutely adore you, and we absolutely adore this podcast. It is a light of our week. We really enjoy it.
Everything else sucks.
Everything else blows. No, but we really do really love it. So, and we just love that you guys are enjoying it as well.
Seem to love it.
Yeah, you seem to love it. But yeah, if you have any suggestions for future band camps or exclusives or podcasts, just let us know, and we will happily oblige.
We will consider it.
We have used people's
suggestions
in the past.
Yeah.
Also, if you need anything insurance-wise, I do that as well. So, if you want to get your home and auto quoted or life insurance or whatever it is, please let me know. And chat Disney. Yeah. Let me know. Just email us at magicinthemidwestpodcast@gmail, or message us on Facebook or whatever it is, however you want to reach us. Whatevs. So thank you so much. This was podcast number 49, I think. And this was all about Universal Studios Islands of Adventure Marvel Superhero Island. We had a lot to talk about there.
We did.
Because it's so good.
So good.
So
it's all downhill from here.
It's all downhill from here. Don't even bother listening. No, I'm kidding. All right. From the Midwest. See you later.